Coach Corey Wayne, and this is my video coaching newsletter. And the topic of this newsletter is going to be Love is Giving, Not Possessing. I got 3 emails I'm going to go through with you today. And the first one is actually from a woman. But before we get into it, I got a quote that I wrote on this topic that I want to share with you before we get into the first email. And the quote says, "Love is about giving and sharing. It is about mutual appreciation and admiration. It's about 2 people who are happy, whole, complete, and content with themselves and their lives, coming together to share their completeness. If you feel like you are lacking something inside of you, or that you need someone to complete you or make you happy, you will cause the person you desire to feel like being with you is an immediate threat to their freedom and independence. This will cause them to avoid you, friend zone you, or reject you outright. Extend your invitation for a date, phone number, or communicate your desire, and allow the other person to accept or reject your invitation without any attachments to the outcome you want. If your vibration and souls are truly aligned, they will accept it. If not, they will reject it. Be happy and proud that you had the courage to take the risk." So let's go ahead and jump into the first email. She says, "Hey Coach, I was dating this guy for about 4 months, and it was the hardest months of my life." Well, when things are really difficult and they're hard, what's really going on is you're not accepting the reality of the situation. In other words, you want reality to be different than it is. And right from that first sentence, it's telling me that this particular dude that you were dating, he didn't meet your expectations, and that really bothered you. And therefore, you sought to make how he was showing up match your expectations, which probably gave you even more frustration and more suffering. Love is about allowing the other person to come and go in your life. Because if somebody really likes you, if they're attracted to you, and they enjoy hanging out with you, they're going to want to spend time with you. But if you start getting butthurt over how they show up, you get mad because they don't meet your expectations or do what you think they should do, it creates problems. It causes the other person, they no longer can show up and just give to you freely. And after a while, eventually they start thinking, you know what, no matter what I do, I can't make this person happy. And then they start to withdraw and leave the relationship. And then, of course, when they start withdrawing and leaving the relationship, that makes you suffer even more because they're still not meeting your expectations. And then once they're gone from your life, then you're really suffering. She continues on, I dumped him after finding out that he was flirting with other women, but I still wanted to be friends with him. Sure, you just wanted to be friends with him. What you really wanted is you wanted him to change his ways and only want to be with you. But at the end of the day, were you exclusive? Did you ever have that talk that you were exclusive with him? That's why it's important to watch the other person's actions, because there are people out there, men and women, who will date and will blow a bunch of sunshine up your ass in order to manipulate you and get exactly what you want. And the more gonzo and goo goo gaga you are over this person, and they can see it, especially if you're dating a manipulative person, you're literally inviting them to take advantage of you. One of my aunts who I'm really close to, she's worked in a prison for a little over 15, 16 years. And it was a male prison, and a lot of the female guards that didn't know any better, because a lot of the guys that were in prison knew how to manipulate women. And some of these women were, obviously when nobody was looking, they're having sex with these guys, they're getting knocked up, they're getting pregnant by the guys that they're supposedly watching over, and it's just because these guys knew how to manipulate and how to get what they want. I've had some really interesting conversations with her about that over the years and the things that she saw. So she continues on, I know you tell men that going the friends route isn't necessary, but he agreed to be friends. We've been broken up for a month now, and since then, he seemed to move on pretty easy. He has slept with a coworker and is now talking to another one of his coworkers. Well, it's obvious that that's why you date people, to see what they're really like. And this guy is obviously sowing his oats, and he's having a really good time, and his actions tell me that he's not looking to commit to any one particular person. And men and women do this. We project our desires and our ideals onto the other person, and we assume they feel the same way. And in reality, it looks like you were more into him than he was into you, or maybe he's just a very promiscuous person and he's not really looking for a commitment. There's guys that'll go out with you and they'll say they're committed to you when in reality they're just telling you what you want to hear. I had a guy that used to work for me years ago. He's like that. He has a kid with this girl that he's been living with for about a year and a half, and he keeps telling her that he's going to marry her, and they've been together off and on like 6-7 years at this particular point. And pretty much from the moment when they first met, he had 3 or 4 women that he was hooking up with. And that never changed. And the funny thing was, all these 2 or 3 other women that he was dating and hooking up with, he was all blowing sunshine up their ass as well, telling them that he was exclusive with them when that wasn't the reality of it. And because these women tended to be weaker and their self-esteem wasn't there, they went along with it even though it was pretty obvious what was really going on. Remember, no one will ever do or say anything to you that you don't invite them to do. And you can't change people's nature. If this is the way this particular guy is, what are your options? You can accept him the way he is and allow him to come and go as he pleases, while you continue to look for a guy who's really a more loyal type of person who'd like to settle down. It's not going to be chasing every skirt that comes in front of his eyes. She says, it hurts me to hear this because I still have feelings for him. He calls me literally every day to talk, which makes me feel good, but I can't help but think about what he did and what he is doing after we were together. You have the mindset of most of the guys that come to me, which is you want to lock this dude down. But the reality is all you can really do is love him and accept him the way he is. I mean, if your values and your goals are that you want somebody to settle down with and have an exclusive monogamous relationship with, it's obviously he ain't that particular, he's not capable of it. It's not what he's all about. On one hand, it's very sexually appealing, and it's just like when dating a woman, like for a guy dating a woman who is very emotional. One moment they tend to be very feminine, very sexy, but they also tend to totally fly off the handle. But the sex is incredible, the passion is incredible, the fun that you have with them is incredible. It's like a double-edged sword. She says, it's almost like he never truly cared or loved me. We still have sexual encounters, which I believe is making it harder for me to get over him. Well, the problem is you're not accepting the nature of who this guy is. You want him to be different. You want him to become like the ideal that you are projecting onto him. And instead of just loving and accepting him and treating him like a friends with benefits or a sex playmate, that's all a guy is really capable of. And that's okay. I feel like I'm being disrespected and unappreciated. Is there any way I can win this because I feel like I'm losing? Well, at the end of the day, you can't change the nature of how this guy is. If he's doing all the pursuing, when he reaches out, make plans to get together, and that's it. Hang out, have fun, and hook up while you're continuing to look for the right kind of guy that you really want. At least you can have fun with this dude, because obviously it sounds like you like having sex with him and you like spending time with him, but you're going to suffer as long as you try to make this guy into the perfect dude that you want him to be, because it's just not the way it is. It's like, in essence, you're trying to fix him. You're trying to make him into what you want. And when you approach men or women, when we approach relationships and we try to change the other person, we're going to experience pain. The only thing you can really do is accept the way he is. And if you can't deal with that, then I wouldn't even be friends with him at all. Just say, look, what I want and what you want, our goals and our values aren't aligned, and I would appreciate it if you'd stop calling me, because I don't want anything more to do with you. I want to meet somebody that I can settle down and have a monogamous relationship with, and it's obvious you're just not that kind of guy. We've had a lot of fun, but adios. I know it's going to be hard and it's going to hurt me, but I got to let you go. That's what you'd have to say to him. Or continue to hang out and have fun and hook up, and just don't delude yourself into thinking that you can make this guy want to have a relationship with you. You know yourself better than anybody. And what I think is good in my own experience, what's good about situations like this when you date people like this is it makes you emotionally strong. It makes you emotionally tough. People like this come into your life because you have a weakness that you need to overcome. And that weakness is you got to lose your attachment to trying to make the other person into what you want them to be. Love is about giving. It's about accepting the other person and appreciating and celebrating them and their true nature. Not bringing a person into your life and thinking you're going to change everything about them and make them into what you want. Because at the end of the day, if you were able to change this guy into what you wanted, he'd be a pleaser and you just get tired of him and blow him off anyways. And how do I know? Because I coach a lot of guys, and every time one of the guys I coached yesterday was just like that. Everything started off really great with his girlfriend, but after 6 or 8 months, he totally jumped through his butt and bent himself into a pretzel to become what he thought his girlfriend wanted and what she was constantly telling him that she wanted. And then she ends up dumping him anyways. That's what I would do if I were you. And until you accept that truth and that reality, you're going to suffer. And it's just totally unnecessary. It's all going on upstairs in your mind anyways. So let's move on to the second email. This one's from a guy. He says, "Hey Corey, me and this girl I've been dating for a while. We both know what we want and have talked about it with each other. We've been together for 8 months, but the past 2 days or so, she said she needs time to get de-stressed from everything." Isn't it amazing? If you've been following me for a while, it's like you see the same excuses. I need space. I'm so stressed about life. Women use that excuse all the time. What they're really trying to say is that you're bringing stress into my life and you're making me feel like I'm losing my freedom by being with you. Therefore, I need time away from you just to think so I can get back to being myself. A lot of times people will say, I lost myself in that relationship. And that's kind of what's going on here, is that you're wanting to mold this woman into what your ideal is of what she should be and what your relationship should be like, instead of just loving her and accepting her and celebrating the woman that she already is when you met her. He said, continues on, she said it has nothing to do with us. Come on, man. It has everything to do with us. Really, if it has nothing to do with us, then why did you bring it up? Why did you even say that? I would never screw you over. I would never lie to you. People say that, it makes the hair stand up in the back of your neck. There's a reason for that. Or you're talking to a salesman, I would never screw you over. Unless, of course, it meant a bigger paycheck for me, then, hey, all's fair. It's like what Maya Angelou said, and she just passed away a few days ago. She said, when somebody tells you who they are, believe them. She doesn't really text or call me. Well, that to me is a sign of low attraction. What does that mean? That tells me you're over pursuing her. Why do guys over pursue? Because they fear they're going to lose the other person. And because they fear they're going to lose the other person, inside what's really going on is they feel inadequate. They feel like at some point, when she finds out what I'm really like, she's going to get rid of me. So what do? They seek to force things. They contact her excessively because they're constantly trying to find out where they stand. Even if you just had a great weekend together and you were fucking each other's brains out, on a Monday you're going, I haven't heard from her. It's been 3 hours since I dropped her off. Does she still love me? Does she care about me? Because I'm thinking about her constantly. Is she thinking about me constantly? And all this shit goes through their mind. And so they start texting. And it comes off as being controlling and manipulative. And then you get the, I need to de-stress. She may text me a couple of times a day and make excuses why she can't talk on the phone. You are definitely over pursuing this girl. Dude, you need to read my book ASAP. We are pretty serious, or so I thought. She swears up and down that she still loves me, and that tells me that where do I stand? Do you still love me? Do you still care about me? You're acting needy and you're acting insecure. I'm sorry, but you're acting like a little bitch, dude. That's just the reality. You're not acting like a man. It's a total fucking turnoff. Don't fucking act this way, dude. You need to back. When a woman says she needs stress, she needs to de-stress, or she needs space, give her the space. When she is done having the space she needs and she starts to miss you, she'll reach out to you. And when she does, then you simply make the next date. Then you're simply, instead of getting pissed off and butthurt, go, it's been 3 days. Why haven't you called me? Do you not care about me more? Is there some other guy that you're hanging out with? It's the worst thing you can do. You just be like, hey, baby, great to hear from you. I'd love to see you when you're free to get together next. That's all you got to say. And then she thinks, oh, how silly of me. I didn't really need to de-stress. Remember, it's a scientific fact that women are more attracted to men whose feelings are unclear. When they start to miss you, they reach out to gain some clarity of where they stand with you. And you just simply make the next date. It's really easy, and you're way overcomplicating things. You're trying to force things. And she swears up and down she wants to be with me, but I also don't feel like she does. Well, that's how she presently feels, and it's obviously directly a result of how you're showing up and how you're treating her. I feel like she's backing away and is not putting forth any effort like she used to. Well, you trying to force her and manipulate her into doing more effort is actually going to drive her away, which you fear you attract, and you're obviously in a fearful state, and you're totally driving this woman away. If you read my book, it will totally clear things up for you. You'll totally get where you're going wrong. She says she calls and she says she's going to call and text me all the time, so this is not normal for her. I need your help, please. Thank you for your time. Like I said, you're over pursuing her, you're acting like a little creepy, and you're acting like a stalker, and you're acting like a needy, insecure little bitch. That's just the bottom line, dude. I'm not here to blow sunshine up your ass. I'm here just to tell you how it is, so it shakes you out of your pattern and you go, holy shit, you know what? Maybe there's something to it. Maybe I need to chill the fuck out and stop over pursuing this girl. Read the book. It will all make total sense to you. So let's get into the third and final email. And this guy says, hey, Coach Wayne, can you hear the fire trucks? It's like, he's going through my $5,000 drapes. It's like, what the fuck? These are special soundproofing drapes. It's like, what are you gonna fucking do, dude? That's what happens when you live a few blocks away from the fire department. So he says, hey, Coach Wayne, I just started reading your book after, and listen to what this guy says. I have just started really reading your book after about 6 months of dancing around the issue. However, after this last failed romance, I really felt the need to read it and discover what it is I'm exactly doing wrong with women. God, dude. Well, you know what? At least you're finally reading it. It's like I said all the time. You got to read the book 10 to 15 times. People go, I don't need it. I don't need no stinking book. I don't need to read a book. I can just watch these videos. You got to learn the fundamentals, dude. He says, after just reading through it a couple of chapters, I found so many mistakes that I have made. And now you're kicking yourself going, you know what? I knew about this 6 months ago. I should have listened to that fucking shaved head jackass named Coach Corey Wayne. But this is what happens. It's like the only way people change the way they're showing up, the only way they change their belief system is when it no longer works for them. And you obviously got to the point where you realize shit was fucked up and it wasn't working for you. You were experiencing a lot of pain. And you thought, okay, uncle, I'm crying uncle, maybe I need to read this book that Corey's been telling me I need to read 10 to 15 times. And you read it and you go, oh. And it's so obvious. The light bulbs go off. He says, I met this girl about 3 months ago at the end of my college experience and fell for her almost instantly. Now, at first, I wasn't going to talk to her because of the fact that she had a boyfriend, and then also because she seemed to enjoy the company of many male companions. Well, why is that? Women love attention. Even when they're in a relationship, they love to feel desired and sexy and appealing to other men, even though they might be very happy in their relationship. I mean, who doesn't like people going, you're fucking awesome, man. I think you're really cool. Or women calling up and go, God, you're so fucking hot. You're so sexy, Corey. Everybody likes that. He says, but after working on several group projects with this girl and mutual friends, I noticed that she was taking what I felt to be a huge attraction to me. For example, she was always commenting on how nice I always looked and acted. Definitely an indicator of interest. What does that tell me? She's probably a cheating type of girlfriend. And if she cheats on him, she'll cheat on you, bro. Another time came when we were working on a project together and our eyes met and both of us acted extremely shy and looked away instantly, but we looked back at each other again. Well, the dominant one never looks away. He just sits there with a smile on his face. This is something else you would have picked up by reading my book. You wouldn't have broken eye contact if you had read the book. These are little subtle mistakes that you're making. He says, but that wasn't the only time I caught her staring at me. Another time, she was in the computer lab with her boyfriend, and I caught her staring at me when I walked in. I smiled at her, but she gave me a half smile as if she got caught cheating on a test. Dope. Even with that, I tried not to take it serious, but then not having self-control, I started becoming infatuated by her. This is why when a woman tells you she's in a relationship, it's just don't go there. This is why you get all hung up and you get infatuated. She's unavailable, and now you take yourself totally out of the game. You stop talking to other women, even though you're in college, it sounds like. So there's beautiful young women that have similar goals, similar values, just like everywhere. It's when you're in school, when you're young like that, that is like one time in your life where you're going to be in like a huge, high concentration of people, similar. Most of them are single, similar age, similar goals, similar values, and it's a target-rich environment. He says she then started contacting me on Facebook. Sounds like she's ready to have a fling. We would chat a little bit, but I was trying my hardest not to let her get to me. Foolishly, I started putting romantic posts about me finding the one on my Facebook wall, and she for some reason would contact me trying to figure out who I was talking about in my posts. Cats are curious. For a while, everything seemed good, and she even mentioned us hanging out together, but never mentioned her boyfriend, not unless I mentioned him. She definitely is ready to cheat, sounds like. This particular type of woman, she's great to have a hookup with or a fling, and she'll hook up with you as long as she thinks that she can have unattached sex with you, and it's not going to complicate the relationship that she has with her boyfriend. But when you get all goo goo gaga and start drooling all over her and stuff, then she realizes that you're going to get attached, and if she hooks up with a guy like that, he's going to create problems for her and her relationship, and that's why she'll reject you outright, because it just ain't worth the trouble. It's too complicating. But when you're indifferent and she's not sure, you act like a guy who has an abundance of other women in your life, and therefore, if you have an abundance of other women, the likelihood of you getting hung up on her is very low. Therefore, it's safe for her to interact with you and reveal her attraction and interest and flirt with you like she's been doing up until this point. He says, and when I did, she always acted sad. The day things changed is the day I told her that I liked her. Dude, she already knew that you liked her. She could tell by the way you looked at her. But you thought, I got to have the talk with her about my feelings. I got to put it all out there and vomit my feelings on the table and expect that she's going to go, oh, I just had no idea you felt that way about me. Women know these things, dude. He says, like you always talk about in your book, women lose interest in a guy when they knew too much about him. At first, when I told her how I felt, she said, I'm sorry, I was homeschooled. I haven't heard that one before. And I don't know how to, I'm sorry I was homeschooled, and I don't know how to take this. Well, that's a pretty creative BS excuse. She knows exactly how to take this. She started backing up because she realized, oh, if I get involved with this guy, it's going to complicate things with my boyfriend. I can't have that. I don't want to blow up my relationship. You should have just kept flirting and playing with her and invited her. Hey, when you're hanging out studying, just say, hey, I got a bottle of champagne back at my place if you care to join me for a drink. She goes, well, it's kind of late, but okay, well, just one. Sure, well, come on. And then just go back to your place, laughing, joking. You have one glass of champagne, then two, then three. Start kissing, you start making out. Next thing you know. But even after that, she still seemed interested. In fact, the day I walked for graduation, she went out of her way to find me. It was the greatest feeling I had, but then it went cold. The next few weeks, I seemed like I was doing all the contacting. Yeah. It's like you don't pursue women like this. She was chasing you. She was texting you, or she was reaching out to you on Facebook. And as soon as you puked up your feelings, you thought, okay, now I got to go into pursuit mode, and I got to make her mine. I got to rip her off from her boyfriend. And as soon as that happened, poof, all the power evaporated. But if you'd have just hung back, and when she reached out to you, invited her to get together with you, you'd have been bumping uglies with her. And you could have been her little sex playmate on the side. But keep in mind, she ain't girlfriend material, and she certainly ain't wife material. She's just not exclusive monogamous relationship type of material, because she's out to hang out, have fun, hook up with whoever she wants. Loyalty doesn't mean anything to a woman like this. It's just the way it is. He says, and if I didn't answer her back, she would immediately go to my wall and post something to get my attention. like calling me boo. I was so confused. However, stupidly, I ended our friendship after she posted a picture on Facebook of a white rose that her boyfriend gave her. Dude, it's none of your business what she's doing, because she probably has 2 or 3 other guys just like you that she's hooking up with on the side, unbeknownst to her clueless boyfriend. I sent her a stupid message saying that she knew that I liked her, but she still felt the need to post pictures of white roses. I said that she was being cold-blooded. She's presenting the image to the world of a good girlfriend. Oh, look what my boyfriend got me. He got me a white rose. He's so sweet. And he looks at that and goes, oh, that's my girl. And meanwhile, she has no idea, or he has no idea that she's flirting with you and God knows how many other guys. He says, after that, I deleted her and tried to move on, but I felt bad and tried to apologize, but she never responded. It's been about a month now, and I still haven't heard anything. But from the looks of our mutual friend's Facebook wall, she has moved on. She even changed her Facebook profile pic, showing her and her boyfriend. Now I know that she has emotional attachment to her boyfriend, but why was she acting interested in me? Well, it was pretty obvious, dude. There was a connection, a physical connection, an emotional connection, a mental connection, and a spiritual connection between the two of you. And you started off good, but if you'd have read my book, you would have known how to basically move it effortlessly to the bedroom, and you would have been a guy that she had an affair with, if that's what you're looking for. I'm not here to be your judge. I'm just here to help you get what it is that you want so you can have the experiences that you want. You're an adult. You can figure this shit out for yourself. But at the end of the day, you were a bad pickup artist. And this is what happens. You don't know the fundamentals, and you could have had a nice little, it would have been no strings attached type of sex. That's what would have been great about a situation like this when you're young. But at the end of the day, you still risk the boyfriend finding out and wanting to beat your ass. But that's beside the point, because obviously that shit didn't seem to matter to you. So, again, if that's the experience you wanted, that's how I would have handled it if I were you. But now that you're reading the book, read it 10 to 15 times so you get to know the information so well you don't have to think about it. And then next time you encounter a situation like this, you'll know how to keep everything in the down low and escalate things sexually so it ends in a successful conclusion of indoor Olympics in your bedroom. So if you'd like to get my help personally, the quickest way is to book a paid phone, Skype, or email coaching session. You can choose any of those options by going to my website, clicking the products tab at the top of your screen, and just follow the instructions. And I will talk to you soon.